Now, I've owned a lot of bikes over the years, and nothing brings me more joy than new bike day. Today, we're going to be checking out my brand new TALARIA XxX. I'm going to give you guys the reason why I picked the TALARIA over a Surron, the XXX over a Sting R, and so on. There's so many different accessories for both those other models, and not much just yet for this bike, but I'm going to be doing an entire build series on the XXX. So if you guys are interested in this bike, or you have one, hit that subscribe button right now, because we have a brand new accessories video coming right after this one. So with that being said, I'm going to give you guys my first impressions, review, point of view, everything on the XXX stock. Let's go. All right, so if you're looking for a full-on spec sheet of this bike, click the link in the description below. Check out Lunacycle's page. They'll give you all the information you need to know about the XXX and any other TALARIA or Surron model they have. So with that being said, we're going to talk strictly about this bike. I'm not going to dive too far into the specs. Just going to give you guys my overall point of view, thoughts as I'm riding it. Let's talk about the real elephant in the room. That is the key fob. So a lot of people don't like this, which we'll talk about more once we get back to the shop, but power the bike on, key fob it on, put that in my pocket so we do not lose that. Press the start button, and it's ready to go. So it has Sport and Eco. We're gonna try it in Eco, and I'm gonna take you guys through all of the regenerative braking settings. And as we do that, basically let you guys know my standover. I'm 6 foot tall, I weigh 184 pounds. Standover is really good. The bike feels really stable. Stock as is, and we're going to do some carves too, kind of see how these stock tires feel. So right now let's put in regen 1. Going to use no brakes. We're in eco mode, and let's go. Get it up to, let's just say 20 miles per hour. This is regen 1, 20 miles per hour. Coasting now. It's a nice smooth coast. I think this is where most people will stay with the regen setting. It will get you to an area where you will start to use the brake. So it doesn't basically use regenerative braking to the end. It still is coasting as we are right now. Let's come to a complete stop, and we will then up it to, let's just say, regen 2. Pot of regen 2, eco mode still. Take it to about 20 miles per hour the same. A little bit more regen in there. I say its take up is more right about here coming to the end, and then it popped off right there. Now it's just coasting to a complete stop. Put your legs out. Let's put in regen 3. Stay in eco. Same thing. Let's get it up to 20 miles per hour. Way more pronounced and harsh. Harsh in a good way. Like it's doing its job. Same thing right there. It lets off, and now I'm coming to a coast to a complete stop, and I can put my feet down and I'm controlled. Put in level 4. Even more pronounced than level 3. It works really well, honestly. And now we're coming to a nice coast. So right now it's just coasting, no regen in there. I feel like kind of tacking on there because it's going, I guess, over the speed limiter. Maybe it doesn't until about 6 or 7 miles per hour. So now I'll hit the brakes to be able to come to a stop. Now, when it comes to eco mode, let's do a top speed test. Here we go, 3, 2, 1. Showing at 31, 32. Basically my top speed there in eco mode was 32 miles per hour. Now I did already cut the speed limiter. By the way, that's still regen 4 right there. Came to a nice controlled, almost complete stop. Now, when it comes to the top speed of sport mode, this is going to be different depending on your body weight, basically how you ride as an individual, and we're going to get right into it. I'm going to go down to the end here and make a U-turn because we're going to want a nice long straightaway for this one. All right, so I know that speed limit sign says 20, but we're going to disregard that right now. This is a closed road anyway. Nobody ever comes down this. We got a sport mode. We'll put the regen on level 2. 37, 40, 45, 48, 50, 51. We're going uphill right now. If I tuck kind of low, 52, 53. So I was able to show the speed at 53 miles per hour on this speedometer. I will be doing a full-on speed test and range test video just to kind of see how accurate this is. I do my speed test using Bike GPS on the App Store. So overall, the top speed feels really good, nice and smooth take up. I've already done a handful of wheelies on this, which I'll do a separate wheelie video as I learn through the process on here. But the other day, I did probably like 100 of them and got gnarly arm pump, but I was so amped up and hyped to be doing them that I kept going, and it was a bad choice. Here's what the clip looks like. Oh, the boy almost got away from me. Oh, I was not expecting that. So yeah, I posted that clip on Instagram, YouTube Shorts, as well as TikTok, and TikTok was the only one to flag it. Flagged it 3 times after that video hit 150,000 views, which is insane. So with that being said, let's do some carves. Let's see how these tires feel, carving side to side, and let's see what else we can talk about. Suspension. I'm not gonna do any jumps today because I don't wanna go in the grass or dirt with these tires, don't wanna risk falling. And then we're gonna talk about what I think the shortcomings are when it comes to the XXX and why I'm swapping out the parts that I am. So the bike is really nimble. Like, it wants to carve and get low in those carves. It's got a nice responsive nature to the suspension. Just wants to get low. And it is a good feeling bike. This is definitely a really good commuter style bike that you're probably gonna wanna just have a lot of fun with anyway. No wonder people get these bikes for wheelies and the whole 9 yards. Now the front suspension, in my opinion, is trash. I mean, we'll talk more about this, I guess, as we get further in and when we get to the shop, but basically, I was expecting an air suspension fork on this, and that's gonna be one of the first things that I swap out on this besides the handlebars. I do want a higher bar. Like I said, I'm 6 foot tall, and I want it to kind of be like right about here. This feels the most comfortable. So I did order a handlebar for this too, so it's gonna be pretty sick. The grips are very nice on this bike. It reminds me of an ODI Ruffian race grip that I used to run when I was BMX racing. And as for the shortcomings on this bike, I'd have to say would be the foot pegs. These foot pegs are trash in my opinion. They just aren't that good. They feel kind of tacky, very cheaply made. The suspension feels good, but I do want to swap out the front and rear suspension just for jumping purposes. I don't want to bottom out as easy. The brakes will do for right now. I think I'm gonna do a brake upgrade kit, probably, let's just say about like the 300 mile marker. And right now I'm at like 25 miles on the bike so far. The handlebars and stem I'm gonna be swapping out. The headlight I might keep, but I've seen some really cool deletes that people have done, and they've put the handlebar headlight on and it looks really, really sick. So now that we're back at the shop, let me give you guys a brief rundown on why I chose a Talaria over a Surron. And I guess first and foremost will be price point. That's usually first and foremost for everyone. They want to try to get the most bang for their buck. So looking at a stock Surron versus any stock Talaria, I felt like I was getting way more for my money when it came to Talaria versus Surron. I know that there's a lot more accessories to build out on a Surron, but Talaria is really getting there. Every day that passes, you're getting more and more accessories. You have the MX-4, the Sting R, and now the XXX. Now, I originally was looking at the Sting R. I almost pulled the trigger on it, and I knew that they were coming out with this bike, so I was like, you know, I'm gonna wait a little bit longer to see what this is valued at. I missed the first launch, the second launch, the third launch, and eventually got the 4th of July launch, which I'm really stoked on because it was the last one that was available at $29.95. Now they are $32.50, and I think it's still a great value at $32.50, but I'm hyped to get it for what I got it for. Now, this shares a lot of the same values that the Sting R has. That's another reason why I got this bike, because I can use a lot of the same parts and accessories from that bike on this bike. One of the first things I'm doing on this is switching out the tires. I'm also going to be doing a custom vinyl wrap on this bike that is not pre-cut. I'm literally doing this all by hand myself, so definitely tune in for that video. It should be in the next 3, 4, maybe 5 days. I got to do the tire video first, doing some new handlebars on this, and slowly but surely accessorizing this bike. One thing to say about stock bikes is the best example I can give you would be, I come from a professional BMX background. I can go from my professional BMX bike, and then when I pick up what would be considered a professional BMX bike, but it's stock, it just doesn't feel finished or refined, if you understand what I'm saying. Now, I like that about this though. The whole bike itself, the linkage, everything feels good about this bike, but the things I plan on changing will not only make it my own, but it will make it for exactly what I want to ride this bike on. I want to change out the front suspension, the rear suspension. I'm swapping out the tires like I spoke about before, the handlebars, the foot pegs, and make this my own. I love the grips. It's like an ODI Ruffian feel from my BMX racing days. A lot of people don't like the RFID key that you have to use for this, which I do have a solution, which I will be coming out with a video here in the next day or so. I want to perfect it and make sure it is ready to go before I release it to you guys. I do think it's going to be a good solution if you want to keep this setup. There are different setups. You can put a key solution on here as well to be able to bypass this whole system. But that being said, I really do like this bike for what it is. You're getting a headlight, tail light. Only thing it's really missing is signals. So with that being said, let me know what bike you have in the comments below. Let me know what changes you think I should make to this bike that I didn't mention before, or if there's any accessories you want to see featured on this bike that I could possibly test out for you guys. So with that being said, if you guys like this video, drop a like. If you love it, hit the subscribe button, and I'll catch you in the next one.